Okay, let's see here. I have to sort out the light a little bit. It's very professional. It's a very professional live stream. This. Uh, yeah. Well, it is what it is. Yeah. I know it's dark, but that's how it is. Um, I'm going to talk about something that you're not here to look at my face anyway. So I'm going to get into the whole mess in Sweden because Sweden is in a bit of a pickle. Again, I love that expression. I'm just going to wait for a few seconds until a few more people have joined. It's a live stream. You have to be a subscriber to join the chat. Um, so So do subscribe if you want to join the chat, or if you want to see more of my videos here on this channel and live streams as well. I do almost all my live streams here on this channel. Well, I do some members only live streams on the main channel as well. And I might do public live streams there, but most of the public live streams you will find them here on this channel. And there are links to my other channels in the video description. Okay. So, in Sweden, there's a situation now. I shouldn't laugh because it's a big mess, you know. So apparently there's a guy who I think is Danish actually, and he and his little friends, they are traveling around in Sweden. From my understanding is that they are traveling around in Sweden and doing these talks, or not talks, it's not like they are there to provoke, right? So, and hang on here, I'll get to the point. Um, and what they do is they basically they announce that we are coming to this town or this city, and we're going to burn the Quran, or Quran we say in Norwegian. Jonna, good morning to you. Good morning to everyone. Yeah, so that's what they're saying, and that's what they're doing. They are burning the Quran, which is known, everybody, yeah, of course you know this, but it's the holy book for the Muslims, right? And of course you have the crazy people, the more dogmatic Muslims out there going all crazy. They can't contain themselves, and they are rioting. They are setting police cars on fire and behaving like, well, let me not say the word because that would be, well, they are misbehaving. So, on one hand, you have a guy who I think is a moron, who is there to provoke, and I guess his point is that, um, well, I think he's like a member of, or the leader of, a small political party. Um, and and he wants to show everyone how crazy all the Muslims are. So his point apparently is that, look at these people, I'm just burning the Quran, and they are starting riots for that now. So um, I guess I'm going to, how should I put this? You know, so here's the thing, I think he's a moron. but also he has the right to do what he's doing because Sweden is a democracy. We have I don't live in Sweden, but we we and they in Sweden are my neighbors have freedom of speech. Actually, they do, contrary to popular belief, and it's his right to express his freedom of speech by burning the Quran. Absolutely no question about it. And that's why whenever he comes to town to do his Quran burning, the police will protect him and the people that are with him, as they should do, you know. So it's his right. There can be no question about it. And yeah, there's mentioning here that he has a let's just say a criminal background. This this guy who is doing this, and I've read that as well. I don't want to use his name because I think he doesn't deserve even to be remembered by his name. Not because he's expressing his freedom of speech, but because I think he's an idiot and he has a criminal background, as far as I know. I don't think he is interesting. I don't think he's clever, interesting, or worth remembering at all. Now, these people who are standing there outside of the barriers at the and the police there, the Muslims. I don't want to, it's I use that word, but we have to remember that it's a this is a minority. Okay, my guess is that most Muslims they don't care. They, if you're integrated in Sweden, and you have a background from a Muslim country, you might think it's wrong, but you won't be standing there screaming, and you certainly won't be setting police cars on fire. These people who are doing that are themselves probably, criminals. It's a good mix, I guess, of fanatic Islamists and criminals. So on one, so it's like a battle between morons, the way I see it. He's this guy. He's in his right to do what he's doing, even though I might think that what he's doing is stupid. But the people who are demanding that the police move aside so that they can come and beat him to death, they are obviously not in their right. And they are not in their right to set things on fire, like police cars and buildings and stuff. It's not. They're not in their right. And it cannot be defended. It should not be. So because I see some people, they are saying that, well, it's because this guy is burning the Quran. Well, it's not because of that. No, it's not. It's because they are bad people. If they were good people, they would not do that. If they were good people, they would probably say something like, "I think you shouldn't do that," and they wouldn't give him any attention. But anyway, um, some people would say, "Well, he's exposing these people." Well, we know already about the problems in Sweden. We know that in Sweden, where the immigration went totally off the rail for many years, unlike Norway. Um, it's they have pretty much a nation within the nation, if you understand what I mean. So in some places they have a no-go zones. The police won't go there. because they know they are so hated that it's unsafe for them. So that's the mess that Sweden has gotten itself into. So here's the thing. Burning a book, for me, I'm an author. I like books. I think it's a silly thing to do. I've read not the entire Quran, but I've read most of the Quran. And I've read as well as the Bible and several other religious books, if we can call them that. I think the Quran, from a literary standpoint, from looking at it as an author, it's not well written. It's not. The Bible has a lot more value as reading material, say. But that's beside the point, I guess. But I want to ask you a question. Should he be allowed to burn the Quran? And you can just write what you think in the chat here. People are saying yes. There's a delay here now. Yeah. So should he be allowed to burn the Quran? Of course, yes, yes. Now my other question is, should he be allowed to burn the Bible? Should he be allowed to burn the Bible if he wanted to do that? People are saying yes. And another question. It's the wrong time of the day now, but because most people in the USA are they will be asleep now. But should he be allowed to burn the American flag? Because and you get my point there, okay? If we're saying that, of course, he should be allowed to express his freedom of speech, speech, to express his freedom of speech by burning the Quran. But a lot of people, especially in the more with a patriotic leaning, I have noticed that they get very upset when people in the Middle East burn the American flag. So you get my point, you know. I might say that why would you burn anything? It's so silly to do that. Why can't we have an intelligent discussion about things instead? But it should be in your right, as long as you're not, obviously, as long as you're not sitting. You need to do it so it's not unsafe. You can't start burning things inside let's say a shopping mall, you know. And here's the thing, don't get me wrong, I would never burn a book. I would never burn the American flag. Why would I do that? I would never burn the Russian flag either, by the way. I just want to mention that. Over horse, you got me there. How about stave churches? Yeah, very, very funny. That was it was not me. I did not do that. So okay. And here's the thing, it's like I'll give you an example. Every year, I think it's once a year, we get some neo-Nazis here in the town where I'm living, and they have their little march. down the main street, up and down the main street. And they, you know, and I hate to say this, but the truth is that they love Norse mythology. Oh, they do. They don't understand it, but they really love Norse mythology. So they have a rune on their flag, and it's not it's not like there are many, maybe 10, and they are allowed to walk up and down the main street with their little flags in their white shirts and their stupid haircuts with the Hitler haircuts and all that. And I hate that. I really hate that. But also, you know what? I love the fact that they are allowed to do that, because it means that we have freedom of speech. That's what it means to me. And I might hate what they're doing, but also the principle behind allowing them to do it is so important to me, especially if you're an artist like myself. You need, you really, really need freedom of expression. Without it, you can't function as an artist. So, again, I hate what they're doing, but I understand that they must be allowed to do that, because it's a main principle of a democratic society. So, let's see here. Okay, let's just go back. Yes, I'm you can scroll back as well. I'm talking about the guy in Sweden who's burning the Quran, and the riots coming from, the riots that he's sort of creating intentionally. Um, so, by the way, you can give me a super chat if you really want me to see your comment. And that's also a great way to support this channel. But you could also go to the video description and give a donation to one of the animal charities there. That would also be great, or even better, I would say. But if you want your comment to pop up so that I certainly will see it, then you have to give me a super chat. So, I do get provoked, I must admit. I do get provoked by this guy who is burning the Quran. I do, because to me, book burning in itself is wrong. Okay? But again, he must be allowed to do that. Of course, I get much, much more provoked by the people who are protesting or rioting. And some of the, well, we have Norwegian reporters there, and I read some of they talked to the rioters, and exposed their attitudes. If you didn't know, Norwegian mainstream media, Norwegian mainstream, oh, we hate them, don't we? But listen, Norwegian mainstream media has been on the ground in the no-go zones in Sweden, exposing the people there and their attitudes, their intolerant attitudes. Can you imagine that? And they exposed some of the attitudes, and the people rioting there are saying that the police are just as bad as the guy who's burning the Quran, because they are protecting him and they are not letting them, the rioters, go and kill him. That's what some of those people were saying. They feel it's in their right to go and kill this guy. And also there's this nonsense about, oh, it's our holy book, and you can't do that to our holy book. Listen, to anyone who thinks that, it might be your holy book. But it's not my holy book, and I do not respect whatever you feel around a book. I don't respect that. Why would I? I have zero respect for that. The same goes for any religious text, by the way. And I won't go around and burn the Quran or the Bible or the American flag or anything like that. But I don't respect it as anything else than a book or a flag or something like that. Um, and this is quite important because, and I think that they are spoiled, these people. When you grow up in a society where you're being told that, well, this is our religion, this is our God, and this is our holy book, and everyone must respect that. Um, and then you move to somewhere else and you expect it to be like that in that other country, you're in deep water. You're wrong. Let me just, okay, let me clarify something here about free speech. And this is a bit of a sidetrack. Free speech does not mean that you can come here in the live stream and be disrespectful. Free speech means that you can start your own channel and say what you like on your own channel. It is in my right to shut people down if they make a mess here in the live stream. And you might cry and bitch about it. Oh, you're talking about free speech, but then you blocked me from your live stream. Yeah, I will do that whenever I feel like it, actually. But I will never try to close down your channel. Now, I can't see anyone anyone no, misbehaving here. I can't see that, but the principle is quite important. It's like if you have a public space in your town, anyone should be able to go there and do a speech. I guess you must apply for security reasons and so on, and so that you don't get in the way for things like merchants selling their stuff on the town square and things like that. But you should be allowed to do that. But that is very different from claiming that you should be allowed to enter someone's house and do your speech in the living room. Okay. So that's quite an important difference there. And it's the same here. So you can come to a live stream on a channel and, that and I'm interested in your opinions. I can't see all the comments. I'm sorry, but I'm doing my best. But you can't be misbehaving here. And if I shut you down, uh, that's not me saying that. That's not hypocritical. That's actually me protecting my space here. You can go and start your own channel. That's fine. And if I come to your channel, your live stream, and misbehave, you can throw me out of the live stream if you want to. So, let's see here. Mike says, your channel is your house, it must be respected. Yeah, well, exactly. I'll try to answer some questions here. Thought on Jordan Peterson. Well, Jordan Peterson has some very good points. I also think that he moved in a direction with, well, he's a liberal, You need to realize that he's a liberal. I'm not at all. And also his thoughts on Christianity. I don't agree with that. But he has made the net sum of what he's said and done is positive, I would say. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, I sometimes it's difficult for me to see the context of some of the comments. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, here's yeah. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I get hung up with in the chat a little bit. So I guess there is another thing here that needs to be said. There is a vast cultural difference between. I'll generalize here, okay? So you'll have to forgive me for that. A vast, there are many differences culturally between people from the Middle East and people from Scandinavia. And one of those is that up here, we tend to look down upon people who can't control their emotions. It's seen as immature and childish. If you imagine you come to a work meeting and you get upset and you get all emotional, that won't get you very far. You will be looked down upon. In the Middle East, as far as I know, being emotional is seen as at least not negative. So when these people, they can't contain themselves and they are crying and they are shouting and demanding to beat this book burner to death and all that, in their mind they are doing something wonderful and they are in their right and they are manly and they are fantastic, they probably don't realize that Scandinavian people look at them as immature children who are misbehaving, because we do. So if you come to Scandinavia, you will find that we are not very, we don't show emotions like other people in other cultures do. It's a Nordic thing, I guess. We will show emotions, but we will not express our emotions out in public. Let's see here. Oh, Ali Chabar says Islam is the right way, only right way, the natural conclusion to Judaism and Christianity. Don't be afraid, look into it, and you will find it's the only and true way. Well, that's borderline respectful comment. I'll leave it there, and I'll won't kick you out of the live stream. I strongly disagree, and you're wrong, but it's interesting because I don't get many of these dogmatic comments like this one from Muslim people. So that's interesting. Liliopatra, well, thanks a lot for the donation. And thank you for being here. And Paolo, thanks a lot. That's very kind of you. Yeah, well, I hope that this day will be good. You know, um, I think it will be. The weather is nice. Let's see here. Um, and a comment here: more killed in the name of Islam than all other religions combined every month. I saw from Dirt Road here. I saw a. We will never know because we don't really have the exact numbers, but um, in sort of recent history, I think actually, no, hang on, I can't remember the numbers now, but we need to take into account the number of people that have been killed under communist rule, and if you take the replacement of Chinese people under the Cultural Revolution there. Now, sorry, I can't remember the numbers now. What about Genghis Khan? He was responsible for lots of people getting killed as well, but yeah, certainly, you know, millions upon millions have been killed in the name of Islam. Um, Absolutely. Let's see here. I think maybe, yeah, I know that this I do know, of course, that this live stream will be demonetized. Of course, I do realize that, but we still need to talk about it. Let's see here. Yeah, a good point from Christopher. Statism is the world's most deadly religion. That's a very good point. The principle that, if you didn't know, statism is basically the principle where you have an all-powerful state, and if you're you know, that state is much more important than the individuals. So um, absolutely, that's a very good point. Um, let's see here. Marcia says we have one real true God. Okay. You mean Odin, I guess? The Crusaders, yes, they killed lots of people. Yeah, absolutely. Um, and someone called Ali Chabar is preaching a little bit here. Have you heard about Odin? You should look into it. Um, let's see here. Marcia, that's very kind of you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Yeah, what happened in Sweden? You'll have to scroll back to the start where I try to explain the situation. It's it has happened before, and it will happen again. And this is a sure way to get attention. If you want to score some points among people who really hate, well, let's put it this way. If you want to score some points among people who hate Muslims, then you go and burn the Quran, because then you will have some Muslims, the dogmatic kind, screaming and shouting and behaving like not very nice. So that's how you do it, you know. And again, you know, I think it's a very stupid and silly thing to do, but it's in his right. It's in his right. I must say, I've seen that guy and his silly little smile and all that, and you know, there are a part of me that feels like, you know, that's a proper bastard, right? That's what I feel. Not because of his book burning. Well, yeah, I think that's silly too, but um, yeah, I don't know. It's beside the point here. But there will be this will happen again, you know, and we've seen this happening before, um, and with much more lethal consequences. Sadly, the Charlie Hebdo uh, shootings and all that. Denmark Bear. Well, thanks a lot for the donation. That's uh, that's very kind of you. Um, Now let's see here. So it is, you know, when I spent quite a lot of time looking into Islam, and because of the research I did on a novel, and among the Abrahamic religions, it is the one I like the least, because it's the most dogmatic of them, I would say. But I would like to just say one thing: I have not looked into Judaism much, so it's not like I know enough of all the main three religions of the Abrahamic faiths that I can really make a comparison, because I basically have compared Christianity and um, and yeah, I've heard that if you look into Judaism, you're going to like it even less. It is. I know about certain rules and all that. I know. So, but then again, you know, it's not probably not something I'm going to spend time on anytime soon, because I'm not that interested, to be honest with you. And uh, I'm a Norse heathen, as you know. So that's how it is. Rif Magos, thanks for the donation. Says that I'm enjoying my study of the Eddas as a recent heathen. Keep up the good work. Well, I'll do my best, and welcome. That's awesome. So I would like to end this live stream by saying that um, actually tolerance is key here. I have nothing against Muslims, Christians, Jews, whatever. I It's a personal thing. Your faith is a personal thing, and it should be kept as a personal thing. So that's why I don't like it when people come here and write their silly little words about Jesus or so on and so on here. Uh, why would you do that? You know, I'll look into it if I feel like it, but I won't, because I don't feel like it, and I won't be feeling like that at all. Um, That's for sure. Let's see here. Rune has been a member for 4 months. That's awesome. If you're a member to this channel, you will have access to the members only live streams and members only videos, but I do mostly live streams here. Tolerance is key, you know. It's like, how should I put it? It's like religion is it's one of those private things. It's like since this live stream will likely be demonetized anyway. Let me just say that, well, it's like sexual orientation. Uh, Someone's sexual orientation is not it. It's a private thing. Why would I care? It's not up to me to judge, or and I'm not interested either. It's like these celebrities coming out. Oh, so brave, stunning and brave. No, it's not. It's I don't care. It's like, uh, and most people, they don't care. Why would they? It's a private thing. It's I don't care. Same with religion, the way I see it. You know, I might sometimes I do a do the heathen hangouts here, so everyone's welcome, and then we talk about topics that are of particular interest for heathens, um, Norse heathens mostly. So people can come and join if they're interested, you know. But it's not like I'm running around preaching about Odin and so on. That would be silly. Um, and you know, um, yeah, it's a private thing, and it should be kept as a private thing. And I know, the Quran is a holy book and all that. No, it's not. It's not. And I would say that if you feel that it's a holy book and you shouldn't be allowed to burn it, you probably shouldn't live in a Western democracy. Because one of the main reasons why we have the standard of living that we have here and the tolerance that we have here is that we have freedom of expression. If some idiot want to go to the town square and burn the Quran, well, let him do that, and we can make fun of him for doing that if we want to. As I said, I think it's just extremely silly and stupid to do that, but it is his right because we have freedom of expression. By the way, if he, let's say, if he, well, obviously, if he went into someone's house and burnt the Quran there, that would be illegal, right? But I guess you can. Everyone should be able to see the difference, right? One is a public space, the other is a private space, right? So, Ali Chabad says freedom of expression has limits. I just explained the limit to you. And if we start limiting what you can do in a public space when it comes to these things, we don't have freedom of expression. Who's going to set the limits? Hmm? Well, we are animals, actually. We are primates. So who's going to decide the rules? Let me tell you, I will decide the rules, and I'll tell you right straight away that according to my rules, you can burn the Quran. You can build a big pile of Quran and set it on fire. You can do that. But you cannot mock the Norse gods. If you do that, you must be put in jail. So, how do you like those rules? And any intelligent person here would see my point there, you know? So, and also, by the way, let me tell you that, well, we are primates. We are primates. Yeah, I know it upsets Christian people a lot, and Muslim people probably as well, but we are primates. That's what we are. It's a big family of different species of animals, and we are animals. So we can have, okay, let's have limits to freedom of expression. Let's have those limits, but I will decide the limits now. I will, not you. And we will have only one religion. That will be the Norse religion. And you know what? Let's go back to the old days, the good old days. And you know what we did back then? We forced the Christian kings to eat horse flesh during the Blot, and we destroyed their churches, and we beat up their monks. We can do that, limits to freedom of expression. Yeah. If you do introduce those limits, what you're talking about is a power structure where those who have the power gets to decide what people can say and what they can do. That's a very stupid thing to do. I want any Muslim here to have his or her faith, to be able to practice his or her faith, as long as it doesn't harm any other animal or human. That's your right. And I also want morons like this person who's running around burning the Quran to be able to do that. I don't like it. But you know what? I don't like people practicing Islam either, actually. I don't like that. Because mainly I disagree with the key principles of Islam. But it is your right, and it must be your right. And therefore, we cannot have limits to freedom of speech. But I've just explained that there is a difference, and it has to do with where you express it, right? You can't do it in someone's house, right? But you can do it in a public space, as long as there is no danger to if you set this book on fire and then it's inside the shopping mall, as I just said, that would obviously not be safe and so on. So let's just say that we must have freedom of speech so that everyone can have. It's about freedom, right? It's about freedom. And I want people to, I think that actually having a faith is a beautiful thing. And not always. It should be, but it not always. But it can be a beautiful thing. And I often use the example. Now, I'm not a Christian, as you may have discovered by now. But still, I often use this example because I know several Christian people, and some of them are very close to nature, and they will look at the forest and nature, and they will say that, well, this is where I feel close to God. And you know what? I might disagree with that understanding of things, but I think it's a beautiful thing. And of course, it's their right to say that and to to feel that. I would even say it's a beautiful thing. Uh, and I'm sure the same can be found among Muslims. I don't know that many Muslims, but well, I know some people from with a Muslim background, but they are not uh, uh, practicing. They will have a glass of wine and so on and so on. But I'm sure that you will be able to find the same there. I don't know, but yeah, I hope you get what I'm saying here. So, okay. Yeah, and someone's saying here, you don't know true Muslims. Well, what is that? I know what you mean, but how should we define that? You know, you can say the same about Christians. You're not a true Christians if you're not completely dogmatic, following all the rules in the Old Testament and so on. You know, if someone says that they're a Muslim, I'll just say, okay, fine, wonderful, good for you. You know, I won't be there to. I won't be judging. I won't be saying that, well, you're not like this perception I have of the Muslims, so you're not a Muslim. Well, if you're saying that you are, well, I'm okay with that. You know, um, I don't care. So, um, well, thank you, Ali. That's kind of you to say. Thanks a lot. Um, oh, let's see here. Uh, yeah, okay. So I think I'll end this live stream now. But my main point here is that, you know, what was my main point? I was talking about the riots in Sweden, and I think that this guy running around burning the Quran is a moron. You know, and I don't like what he's doing, but it is his right to do it. Um, and the people rioting, demanding that the police step aside so that they can beat him to death, they are not in their right. They should not be defended. They should not be, you know, understood. I'm doing this with my fingers, you know, understood, quote unquote, understood. They should not be understood. They are doing something wrong. Um, so, also, and I have to comment on yeah, well, yes, none of these people they're in are decent. Absolutely not. It's not decent behavior. It's not decent behavior to burn the Quran. It's not decent behavior to stand there and scream, and all that. So um, let's see here. Do not be. Bus Salman says, "Do not be disrespectful to anyone." That's your opinion. Um, well, what is that then? Being disrespectful. Now, I've been what you would call a Norse heathen or pagan since I was a child, actually. And I don't think any of you guys, if you're a Christian or a Muslim, I don't think any of you have any concept even of the amount of disrespect that I've had to tolerate. And it's still like that. You're basically being called an idiot by people who believed in believed that there was a guy who could walk on water, right? So disrespect, I've had so much disrespect for my faith that, you know, it's I don't even know where to begin. So I don't know. It's tempting to show the same disrespect back, but I, I try not to, you know. So, interesting question here from Scott. So, what happens when your people are the minority of Sweden? Do you think your liberal values will last? Well, I'm Norwegian, but if um, like ethnic Swedes are in the minority in Sweden, if I think that liberal values will last, no, not at all, no, and it will happen. They don't even have to be in the minority. Um, and let's see here. Yeah, I think that okay. No, let's see here. Yeah, exactly. Oh, good. I'm a bit tired. Yeah, they are preaching that there is no Swedish ethnicity. Yeah, I've heard that, and that's the narrative from certain people. I would like to say certain people on the political left that there are no ethnic Swedes, and I haven't heard it much here in Norway, but I've heard it in Sweden. That's wrong, of course. In fact, there are several ethnic groups in Sweden, and I think let's talk about Norway because it's not the same, but um, it's similar. I think we have um, four. I read somewhere in about Norway that we have four ethnic groups in Norway. Well, that are defined as Norwegians. Now, you'll have to forgive me if I use the wrong terms here. I am Norwegian after all. Those are the Norse, Kvener, the Sami, and the Jews, actually. We have a very small population of Jews that has lived there for a very long time. I didn't know that actually, probably because they look exactly like everyone else and live exactly like everyone else there. But if you go, if you follow the ethnic roots, so to speak, we have four of these groups in Norway, and that's a fact. It's like yes, we do have Norwegians can be defined as people with a certain ethnic origin. Uh, that doesn't take anything away from anything. It's just a fact, It's denying that fact is wrong, and there is something called the Norse. Very rarely talked about. Wonder why? But I have noticed that, yeah, we don't talk about that, do we? But that's an ethnic group. It can be proven by DNA, and it can be proven by that's genealogy. Is that the word? So that's just how it is. And I think that it is important to understand that people with strong roots are not more intolerant. They are actually more tolerant, peaceful, and so on. They because they know who they are. They are what's the word? They feel secure in themselves about who they are and where they come from. And I think if you try to take that away from people, you will get a lot of tension and a lot of discontent and a lot of conflict. So, okay. So I'm going to have to end the live stream now. It's about 1 hour. And I want to thank you all for joining. Thank you for all the input and your opinions. And you know what? I'm very glad that we had such a civilized debate here in the live stream, because I was wondering, maybe I shouldn't talk about this because maybe I'll get angry, lots of angry people here and from all sides. But no, we had a wonderful, wonderful debate here, as far as I can see, which makes me happy and hopeful. Okay. Wonderful. Have a wonderful day or night, and you know, good rule is that we should just try to be kind to each other, I think. Okay. Bye.